Welcome to Base Space, a crypto podcast. Base Space.
Welcome everyone to the Base Space. For everyone new tuning in, see we have some new listeners not familiar. This is a crypto podcast hosted by myself, the Crypto Mewtwo. We also have Chase Coins and Super High. And the podcast is primarily focused on creating opportunities for growth, networking, and education in the crypto industry. For everyone not familiar as well, today we have the honor of having on Camila Russo, author of The Infinite Machine and Chief S at the Defiant. Welcome to the show, Camila.
Yay, thanks for having me. Nice to be here.
Yeah, we're super excited. And it's tradition here at the Base Space, whenever we have a new guest on, we always like to talk about how they got into crypto. We'd love to hear your story.
Sure. So my story, how I got into crypto was back in 2013, when I was covering markets in Argentina. So my past is that I was a financial journalist at Bloomberg News before I left to finish writing The Infinite Machine and then founding the Defiant. So I was at Bloomberg News in Buenos Aires and covering how Argentines protect their, just like covering markets, but a lot of the stories were around how people protect their investments and savings against 25% inflation and get around currency controls. So currency controls is like when the government tells you what you can and can't do with your money, like you were prohibited from selling Argentine pesos and buying dollars, for example. So in this environment, Bitcoin was kind of gaining more adoption, and I wrote a story on that. And at the time, like I had to really convince my editors to take this story about Bitcoin, and like half of my editors didn't even know what it was. So yeah, it was pretty early. Unfortunately, I did not buy any at the time. I just wrote about it, and yeah, that was kind of the one story just that sparked my interest in this space. And then still at Bloomberg in 2017, with kind of the big bull market at the time, I took the opportunity to start covering crypto more on a daily basis. I was at New York in 2017, and I was in this markets blog for the Bloomberg terminal where we could write about whatever was interesting. So I started writing about crypto, and then my editors just asked me to just cover the space on a daily basis. So I became one of the few reporters at Bloomberg and really in all mainstream financial media to be covering crypto at the time. And I basically never left.
That's incredible. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the book. Lots of knowledge in there. Maybe that's actually like a really good like place to start. Like, how'd you initially come up with the idea to like even start the book or start that journey of documenting like the history of blockchain and Ethereum?
So the book started as, I always wanted to be a writer. That's why I got into journalism, and so I was always on the lookout for what would make a good book idea. And while I was covering crypto in 2017, and the whole space was just blowing up, and it was so fascinating and so crazy, at the end of 2017, I was like, there has to be a book idea here somewhere. And so I started thinking about what was the most interesting story that hadn't been made into a book, and what was like the biggest story to tell. And at first, like it was like, okay, Bitcoin, but there were already books about Bitcoin, like Digital Gold by Nathaniel Popper had already been published, and there were a few others. So then I thought there there wasn't like a digital gold, but for Ethereum. Like there was no like history of Ethereum book that focused on kind of the human side of Ethereum and not the tech or not the trading side of it. And so that's kind of the book I set out to write. And I pitched this idea. Well, first I reached out to a writer who could like recommend me and like guide me through the process. Like I had never written a book before. I had no idea like how you go about writing a book. So I reached out to David Enrich, the author of The Spider Network, which was a book I was reading at the time. Um, and I just like, it's the type of book that I wanted to write, this kind of like Michael Lewis type book that it tells like a non-fiction story in a way that reads like fiction. And so the Spider Network, which I was reading at the time, read like that. So I reached out to David, who happened to be in New York. So we met up for a drink, and I was like, how do you do this? And he said, okay, first thing you need is an agent. And he was kind enough to introduce me to his agent. And then I emailed this agent and said, hey, like I want to write a book about Ethereum. And the agent was like, I'm in. Which I was pretty lucky. Like I know that's not kind of how it usually goes. Like I know it's really hard to find an agent to represent you. So really grateful for Greenberger. It's like the literary agent that took me on. And yeah, after that, like it was I wrote like a book pitch, which is almost like a business pitch. Like you have to write about like why is your book different, what's your target audience, any kind of like comparable works and how they've done, and like it was just like this huge document. And then we sent that over to different publishers, and HarperCollins was interested. And yeah, that's kind of how the whole book got started. And then like it was like 100 over 100 interviews, and getting all the Ethereum founders, and then all the early Ethereum team members to talk to me, and like traveling to meet them in person as much as I could. So I went to Toronto to meet Anthony Diorio, went to Berlin to meet Gavin Wood. Unfortunately, the first interview I did with Vitalik, I had to do it over Zoom, like we couldn't coordinate to meet in person. But then I did meet him in person for a second interview in Canada, at East Waterloo. And so it was one of the best experiences I've had researching for and writing the Infinite Machine. Just like really immersing myself in the Ethereum community, meeting all of the early community members, going to all of the hackathons, all of the conferences. It was pretty amazing.
That's awesome. I love that story. And Mewtwo, he's actually recommended that I need to take some time out of my my busy schedule and read your book. But it's definitely on my to-do list. But I'm actually curious, like early on in this process, did you have that moment where you're kind of like, oh crap, okay, this is a very tall order? And I'm just curious, like what kind of helped you, if that is the case, what helped you kind of push through that, and what was like your favorite part throughout this whole entire journey?
Yeah, there were definitely moments when I was like, what did I get myself into? Because the Ethereum story is pretty, it's complicated. Like there's not like a single source of truth, which, hopefully I helped with that, to like have someone have like one place for people to look at and kind of find, okay, like this is how Ethereum was founded. But at the time there really wasn't much. If if you've been a journalist in like traditional finance, it's like there's a website for a company that tells you all the information you need. There's like a press department that kind of can check your facts and can like guide you to the right people. There's a CEO, but with Ethereum, it's as you know, just like a decentralized community and network. And sure, like I could speak to the Ethereum Foundation, but like that's only one part of Ethereum, and like yeah, Vitalik has his version, but so many other kind of people were involved in the creation of Ethereum, and they had like different perspectives on how that how like the creation and foundation happened. So there was kind of that part that like Ethereum was so like big and complex and composed of so many different people, and there was also just the technical side of it, which I'm not a developer. I'm not like a technical person, so that was the other kind of tough aspect for me, was just like understanding how this thing works well enough to be able to explain it in just like very simple terms, because the goal of my book is for anyone who like not like the goal is for people who have never heard the word Ethereum to be able to pick up my book and read it and enjoy it. So it's supposed to explain all the kind of technical terms about blockchain and Bitcoin, but in like very simple terms. So to do that, like I really had to understand all of this tech myself. So yeah, it was like pretty overwhelming. And then I had this whole kind of map of people that I needed to interview. And at the beginning, like I had them like organized in post-its of like like people that are still on like my to-do list that I need to reach out to, and like people that I have scheduled, people that I interviewed, and people who have like declined. And like in the beginning, when I had like all the post-its on like the to do, like to reach out, it was like wow, like really really daunting. Like how am I ever going to speak with everyone that I need to for the book? But yeah, I mean, I just like powered through it. I was like, okay, I have this book that I need to deliver, like HarperCollins signed this deal with me. And well, more than that, it was just like, I need to do this for myself. Like this is a huge dream of mine. It's a goal I set for myself, and I'm just going to do it. So I was super persistent. I just like reached out to everyone I could, everyone in my network who was part of Ethereum. And then, for example, I had interviewed Charles Hoskinson at Bloomberg. So I started with him, and then he introduced me to Anthony Diorio, and then Anthony introduced me to like I think Steven Nerayov, and then Steven introduced me to Gavin. And so it went like that. It was like starting like little by little and asking everyone I interviewed to introduce me to their network, and then I asked them to introduce me to their network, and so it was like starting from just like 5 people that I knew that were in the very early days of Ethereum. I was able to just like end up like interviewing over 100 people by the end of the process. So just it was just like all a matter of like becoming just like very persistent, never like giving up, and taking it like one step at a time. And it was through those interviews too that I was able to like do my research and like better understand the technical side of it as well.
Yeah, that's such an interesting journey, and I clearly you faced a lot of adversity and tall mountains to climb. You mentioned that you had to travel to a lot of places, but I'm actually curious. you touched on how you weren't really the most technical person, but you kind of just latched onto this very technical concept to like really break it down for people. I'm curious, what was kind of like the passion or the driving force behind kind of like seeing this mission through? And then in addition to that, how did this book throughout the process change your perspective on crypto as you went into writing it versus whenever you finished writing the book?
Let me think. So I guess like the drive to write this book, even though it's a technical topic and I'm not technical, I think it's because I, through like reporting on crypto, I really saw the potential of it and how it was revolutionizing finance and really had the potential to revolutionize everything, like the internet itself. And so I really kind of believed that the opportunity to be at the kind of on the ground when this whole thing was starting and taking off, it was just like a huge opportunity to be there. And the upside was just enormous. It's like, okay, like if I'm one of the writers who is able to write about the foundation of this new paradigm, and I'm here at the start and at the beginning, and I'm able to break this down to like future generations, that's like I have the potential of making a huge impact on people's lives and like on the world. Like if I can make that big an impact with my writing, like I need to take this opportunity. So even if like maybe I didn't understand kind of the code or like couldn't read smart contracts or anything like that, like I still understood kind of the huge potential that there was in this technology, and like and therefore kind of in like the potential impact that I could make as a writer explaining this technology to people. So that's kind of what drove me to finish this book and to understand it and to like get through all the tough parts of the process. And then how my perception changed, I guess like through just like better understanding Ethereum and how Ethereum works and like how smart contracts work. It really kind of made me see that that crypto is not just about money or like the financial aspect to it, which starting out, that's kind of how I saw crypto in the beginning. It's like, okay, Bitcoin is and Ethereum is some sort of like digital currency, like peer-to-peer cash, or like with ICOs, like a way to raise money. But then like as I read like Vitalik's white paper and like his initial vision for it, and started talking to the early community members, like remember at the time, like when I was writing this in 2018, like DeFi didn't exist, like the term Web3, like okay, maybe Gavin had like written a blog post on that or something, but it wasn't really something that people saw, or like it wasn't real yet, because there weren't like many actual applications outside of maybe like a DEX that didn't work very well on Ethereum. Like maybe, okay, like people were issuing tokens, but maybe like Augur, they were like very kind of rudimentary applications. So people back then, like I guess like didn't really see that, or like at least like myself, like covering it as a journalist on the outside, like what you saw about crypto was like, okay, like this is like digital money, it's like okay, like decentralized currency. But by the end of the process, I understood it's more than that. It's like it's a way to add like a value layer to the internet, to add like digital property, and that can be used for so many other different applications than finance. So that's kind of how I came about with kind of the subtitle of my book, which is about like Ethereum is about creating a new internet. It's not just like a new financial system or a new money, but it's just like a new underlying layer for like all of the different applications that we use online. So yeah, that's something that I hadn't quite grasped when I had just started writing the book.
Camila, I also saw that you are planning to launch like your own NFT collection around the book. Could you talk about that with us and kind of the utility around those NFTs?
Yeah, I'd love to. So I'm really excited that the Infinite Machine is going to be made into a movie. There's a studio that has the options to the rights of my book, and the idea is to make a feature film out of it. So not a documentary, but like a dramatized movie with actors and so on. And this production company made me executive producer. So I luckily have a say on how the book is going to be portrayed, and also how the movie is funded. And so with that, I proposed early on that we try to fund as much as we can of the movie with NFTs, and the other producers were on board. And so that's how kind of the idea came about. It's like I thought, this is the first book on the history of Ethereum. It really does make sense that the movie about the book is funded by the Ethereum community using Ethereum technology, especially kind of as we're seeing that NFTs really take off and become this tool for creators. Like, it just like wouldn't feel right to do this in kind of like in a way that doesn't incorporate this huge explosion that's happening within Ethereum itself. So after kind of making that decision that we would try to fund as much of the movie as we could with NFTs, the next step was figuring out, okay, like, but like, how do we actually do this in a meaningful way? And so the first thing that was clear to us is that these NFTs need to have utility and like representation in the movie production itself. So what this means is that the Infinite Machine movie NFTs are sort of like backstage passes to production in different ways. Like, one is that NFTs have embedded like movie traits, which will be revealed when the entire collection is sold, which it hasn't been sold yet. But once the collection is sold, these like movie kind of Easter eggs are revealed. And some of them are, for example, that the holder is able to be an extra in the movie. Others allow the holder to have their name appear in the credits. Others are invitations to the movie like premiere. Others are invitations to visit the movie shooting. So that's really cool. And then the other aspect is that NFT holders become kind of executive producers in the movie itself. So NFT holders are members of the Infinite Machine DAO, and the DAO has a role in the film as executive producer. So the idea is that over time, this is made into a DAO, and then that DAO has delegates, and then delegates can kind of represent NFT holders' decisions on what they want to see, or like how they want to have the movie produced. So things like hopefully I don't like decisions about the script or decisions about casting or like shooting locations, like all of that stuff. I think would be amazing to have NFT holders participate in all of those decisions. I'm really excited. I think it's really kind of a first. Like I haven't seen this concept tried before. So I don't know. I think it's really special for me to have started just like reading this book, and now hopefully the book will become just like the first step and like a base for like a much bigger community around the Infinite Machine and around the story of Ethereum. And then obviously, like the Infinite Machine movie will be the first of hopefully many productions that this DAO will support. So this DAO is being seeded from the start with funds from sales. So like 10% of sales have gone into like a community treasury. And that will continue to be the case over time with like secondary trading fees and so on. So there is kind of this pool of money that is being seeded from like now, for NFT holders to have the capacity of supporting and funding other projects going forward. So it's super kind of I don't know. I think it's a beautiful project. And then the last part I want to highlight is that, which is also pretty unique, is that the art of these NFTs comes from 36 different artists. And these artists are, the majority are from emerging nations. So, I'm Chilean. As I mentioned earlier, I spent 4 years living in Argentina. I have a lot of passion for bringing crypto to emerging nations where this technology can really be life-changing. So I thought, if we're doing an NFT project, I really want to include these communities. These artists are from countries like Cuba, Venezuela, Bolivia, Chile, Kenya, and many others. And they all created their versions of the Ethereum logo, and then we combined those versions to have a 10,499 collection of different versions of Ethereum logos. You should like all go check it out. Like the art is really, really stunning. The avatar I'm using now is from one of the artists in the collection. It's just like a colorful explosion of Ethereum logos. I was a little bit worried about kind of how the combination of these pieces would look, because like we designed this and it had never been tried before, and so it could have like turned out that the combination of all these different artist styles would have turned out to be like not very pretty, but it ended up being just like gorgeous. So I'm really happy about how that turned out. So yeah, I think that's kind of the whole concept and idea of this collection. We already had 2 sales, which each of them lasted for a day, and we sold 40% of the NFTs, and those were made to reward the very early members of the community. And then the rest of the collection will be sold at the 3rd sale, and the date is still TBD. We're looking to finalize some kind of movie-related milestones before we make that sale, because so far we haven't really announced anything related to the movie itself, and we are working on on a pretty cool announcement behind the scenes. So we're looking to have that done to have like something concrete to say about the movie before we do that third sale. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that announcement for when that third sale happens.
Wow, so much happening around this movie. It's pretty exciting. Camille. I'm actually really pumped about like the whole like NFT dynamic and how you're using it to fundraise for the movie. I think that's really cool. I could definitely see that being extrapolated out to other movies, even like music artists, things like that. And then I love how you're incorporating the people that are most passionate about the movie and making them members of the DAO, right? And being able to participate within the movie. I think that's really the future of fundraising and community involvement in different, any type of creative medium, whether it's a movie, music, any type of art form. So that's super exciting to see that you're one of the early pioneers in testing out the waters in that area.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, there hasn't been much done yet with like film and NFTs. I think like last year there was a huge explosion with art and NFTs. So this is one of the first experiments like funding film. So I don't know, like I'm sure we won't get it 100% right kind of at the first try, but hopefully others will learn from what we do, and we can kind of hopefully be an inspiration for other creators going forward. Like that would be amazing. But I think it really is an opportunity for filmmakers globally to use this technology and use this platform to fundraise, to raise awareness, to like include like a global audience. So I mean, in the same way that NFTs have been such an amazing tool for digital artists, I think they can definitely be a tool for filmmakers as well.
Yeah, 100%. I'm also curious, like, are you planning to mint like the entire movie as NFTs by any chance? Are you planning to do anything with that route?
Well, I'm not sure. Like, I'm definitely open to it. Like the same way that I did my book with like a traditional publisher, because like in the end, I want this story to reach a mass audience. So I'm really kind of glad that I was able to have a big platform to publish and distribute my book. And so that's kind of what I want to do with this movie as well. Like I want as many people as possible to be able to access this movie. So hopefully, the idea would be to partner with like a big streaming platform, to do this with like a huge Hollywood studio and so on. Like I just want to go really big. So that's kind of on like one hand. On the other hand, I think I like, as I'm doing now, like I would want to leverage all of the Web3 tools that make sense to connect with like the grassroots Ethereum community. Like this movie is about them. So like I would definitely want to leverage whatever tools are in our hands in like the movie production itself. So maybe we could do some sort of hybrid where maybe there's like a digital version of the movie cover. Maybe some of like the movie clips are sold or like airdropped to NFT holders as NFTs. Kind of like you could imagine like as sports moments are sold as NFTs. Like iconic moments in the movie could be made into NFTs. I don't know. I think there's like a lot to there's like a lot of potential there to do some like really cool things. But also like I would love for like the DAO and NFT holders to come up with those ideas, right? Like I think that at some point I would love for the Infinite Machine NFT collection to kind of be out of my hands, and for like the community to come up with, okay, like what are the best ways to leverage this technology.
Yeah, yeah. No, it'd be interesting to see like what the community does. I know like Vitalik is obviously like a big part of the book and the story. Like, who do you think will star Vitalik within the movie? Do you think it will be a Vitalik?
Oh, like I really doubt like Vitalik would want to star himself, would play himself, but I don't know, like people keep coming up with like Rami Malek keeps coming up as like a like potential good good actor, but I don't like. What do you guys think? Like, I'm really bad at this. Like, I'm really bad at remembering kind of actors' names. So I don't know. I'm not the best person to like. I leave that to like the other producers to come up with good casting ideas. But I don't know. I think that would be that's gonna be the biggest one of the biggest news related to this movie. Like, who will actually play Vitalik? I don't know. It will be fun.
I think Vitalik should play. It'd be funny. I definitely think that he should play, or maybe try and find someone to like CGI, maybe a younger Vitalik. You know, because I think it's gonna be hard to like find someone that has like the same like personality, right, as Vitalik, and can like emulate him and everything like
we'll have
he's
to be
about.
be a really really good actor. Yeah, I don't know. I'll definitely want to be there and be like, you know, like doing quality control. Like, no, that's not the right tone of voice. No, like you need to be wearing like a llama rainbow T-shirt. Like, what are you doing? Or, yeah, no, I'll make sure like that's done in the best way possible.
Camila, I'm actually curious, like who's gonna be playing you?
Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be a part of the movie. We'll see. That would be crazy. Like, I don't know.
You can have kind of like a Stan Lee appearance where you're kind of like, you know, it's like it's you.
Oh yeah, I'd love to do a cameo.
Like you're kind of like
sure.
hidden if you know.
Yeah. Maybe that will be an NFT. I don't know.
I was thinking maybe even Jesse Eisenberg, because you know how he played Mark Zuckerberg in The Social Network.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, I don't know if he can pull that, but maybe him.
Mm-hmm.
So, Cami, I just kind of wanted to switch the subject real fast towards the Defiant more. So, for those who don't know, could you explain what the Defiant is kind of at a high level?
Yeah, so the Defiant is a content platform focusing on decentralized finance and Web3. We have a podcast, a YouTube channel, and we have a newsletter and daily news articles that are published on the website, thedefiant.io. I started the Defiant in 2019 as a Substack newsletter. But now it's grown into a media organization with 18 people in our core team. And the whole mission of the Defiant is to become the most trusted information source for decentralized finance and Web3. So how we are different and kind of are hoping to make an impact is delivering objective, unbiased journalism of just like the highest standards, like all of the best practices that I learned at Bloomberg. I'm bringing over to the Defiant for a news platform that is focused on the decentralized economy. So while CoinDesk and the blog and Decrypt cover all of crypto, we focus on very specifically decentralized finance and Web3. I think kind of that's the most exciting aspect of this space, and while kind of there are different DeFi focused podcasts and newsletters. There are very few that are doing just like actual journalism, just like reporting the facts without any bias or without kind of promoting any investments. We're just here to tell you kind of this happened, and we trust our audience to make their own decisions and make up their own opinions on our information. The long-term vision is to become the Bloomberg of DeFi. So for that, we are building a DeFi-focused data platform. Right now, DeFi data is very fragmented across different trackers, and it's not very standardized, and it's just hard to parse and to compare. So we are building a data platform that where you can find all of the DeFi data in one place, and that is very trustworthy, and also that is easy to use. You don't need to write any code or do any kind of SQL queries to come up with that data. It's just like very easily searchable. So that's in the works. And the plan is to launch a public MVP in the first half of this year. So yeah, that's the Defiant.
Yeah, thank you for that thorough explanation. That's really cool. We definitely need like an unbiased news source or just like, information. I know you said the team is 18 deep, but how big is the research team itself? And then kind of what are some of the processes that team goes through when collecting research for your articles and newsletters?
Sure. So the Defiant has a print team, a video team, like a growth team, and a development team. And I'd say like there's no like research team, but the content side of things is the team that does research, and that's composed of both video and print. So in print, we have two editors and 3 reporters. So the reporters are Owen for now, Brady Dale, and Samuel Haig. The editors are Edward Robinson and YYC Trader. Edward was actually a colleague of mine at Bloomberg, so it was great to be able to bring him over. And then on the video side, there is Robin Schmidt, who leads our YouTube channel, and Alp Gasimov on kind of like the content side of things. And then there's a video editor and producer who don't have much to do about kind of the content itself. So I'd say kind of for the content side of things, on the print side, it's 5 people. On the video side, it's 2 people. So yeah, seven reporters and editors researching and writing and editing content, both print and video on the Defiant.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's really cool. And obviously your vision is to be the Bloomberg of DeFi, so that'll be really cool to see that expand over the coming years. And I just kind of want to ask what your personal, like, what are your favorite trends coming up that you're most excited about? I know you're primarily focused on DeFi and Web3, but more of just like as you, not as the Defiant.
As me, let's see. I think like the trends that I'm watching for this year is DAOs. I think I was really excited to see how people started to like really think big with DAOs at the end of last year. I think Constitution DAO kind of really sparked that idea of, wow, like we can coordinate people and money globally to achieve like really big things. And right now, I see kind of many different DAOs taking shape. on the political front, I think is really interesting. Like crypto really mobilized last year for the infrastructure bill, and now there are different kind of politically minded like activists and like lobbying DAOs taking shape. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. I think kind of initiatives like the Assange DAO are fascinating as well. And then there's like more like I don't know, like sillier DAOs like Link DAO, and I saw there's like a DAO to buy a SeaWorld, maybe. I don't know. There's been like some really kind of outlandish, like fun ideas for DAOs. So like like they really span the spectrum from like very serious to like very silly. But like the core idea of crypto being a vehicle for mobilizing and rallying together and organizing people and money globally, I think is really, really profound and gets to kind of the core of why this technology matters. So that's kind of the trend I'm looking forward to seeing develop this year.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point. And DAOs are, in my opinion, are like just getting started, right? Like there's a DAO that is rounding up funds to buy a piece of land. I think it's in Wyoming. Don't quote me on it, but just to start a community.
Oh, right.
And
right.
I think that is super cool too. And there's going to be DAOs that pop up, for all sorts of different missions and whatnot. And I think that is really cool as well. Shifting a little bit towards Ethereum, what are your current thoughts on like the current state of Ethereum with the high gas fees and whatnot?
Ethereum is going through such a pivotal moment right now, with being so close to the merge. So yeah, I think it's like we're about to see like a historical moment on Ethereum with the merge between proof of stake and the application layer of the network. So I think we're kind of going through just like a very uncomfortable growing pain of Ethereum. We've seen it become like such a hugely popular blockchain. It's in some aspects even overtaking Bitcoin itself in kind of the volume of transactions and like the development activity and like fees paid. So it's just like become massively popular, and of course that has an impact in fees and in how expensive it's getting to actually use it. But it's a result of all of the demand that there is for the network. So yeah, like I said, it's really a pivotal moment for it. It's kind of like a make or break moment for Ethereum. If the merge is successful, and shards enable it to scale, and it's able to integrate well with rollups to become their layer 2 scaling solutions. I think it can continue to be an important hub for blockchain activity, but otherwise it really risks losing that lead to all the other layer 1 blockchains that are popping up and offering cheaper transactions and faster confirmation times and so on. So yeah, like I said, it's really like a make or break moment for it.
I'm actually curious, Camila, and I know you're obviously a lot of your history is with ETH, but you've talked to a lot of other founders and creators of other layer ones. I'm actually curious, like, do you believe that crypto is a multi-chain or has a multi-chain future?
Yeah, I think so. I think the fact that there are all these different blockchains is a reflection of different users demand and different use cases popping up. So I don't believe that one blockchain needs to serve all use cases and every single user. So I think, like Bitcoin has proven to be very good as a like digital gold, like digital store of value, and it keeps like trying to be something else. While I don't think it really needs to. Ethereum has become this place where if you want to transact in like a very decentralized and secure blockchain, you can do that, but you need to pay like very high transaction fees. And maybe that's good for people who like really need that level of security. So maybe some financial applications will continue to be on Ethereum. But maybe there are other use cases that don't require that level of security. And so maybe some kind of use cases with lower transaction amounts, like gaming, or even like some sorts of gambling, or other use cases. Maybe like social media doesn't need that much security, or just like you don't need every single thing to be on chain. And all of those use cases maybe can find a better home on other blockchains. So I definitely think that's a potential viable future. The thing that now kind of maybe puts a dent on that reasoning is how connected these different chains can be, because I think for me, like the wormhole hack, where kind of this bridge suffered a hack worth like $320 million, that's a bit concerning, and Vitalik did say, like had this post like just a few days before it about how risky cross-chain bridges are, and then this like bridge gets hacked. So that's a bit concerning to me, and kind of like makes me rethink that argument. Like, okay, like if cross-chain bridges are so risky, then maybe like a cross-chain world isn't very viable. That doesn't mean that like multi-chains can't thrive, but maybe there won't be so much interoperability between them, which to me is like a lot less fun. So I don't know. Obviously, too early to tell, but I mean, like bottom line, I think there definitely will be demand for different layer ones, and I don't think it will be kind of like winner take all in the layer one ecosystem.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with a lot of your points. And this kind of touches on this subject and what you said earlier with your data platform. What is your relationship like with the Chainlink team? And do you plan on using or integrating Chainlink with your data platform?
Oh, interesting. We haven't had the need so far to integrate with Chainlink. Right now, the way that we're building is accessing like archival blockchain nodes that provide kind of history of different data points for different blockchains. And that's kind of worked out well so far. So at the moment, we haven't had the need to use Chainlink, but maybe, I don't know, like for other pieces of data and metrics that aren't on chain, maybe we'll kind of find the need to use it. But yeah, I don't know, like so far we haven't, and maybe, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a better question for our data analysts, but so far, yeah, we're getting all our data directly from blockchain nodes.
Oh, okay, sweet. Yeah, I just figured that I would ask. We're kind of like chain link junkies up here, all three of us.
Oh, okay.
And then just kind of my last question before I pass it on to Chase and Mewtwo, or if we go to community questions, is: do you see yourself as an inspirational figure for other women to get into the space?
Oh, wow. Well, if I am definitely honored to be that. I really hope to kind of set an example as kind of for women who are looking into a space and finding it very intimidating. I think it would really make me proud if they see me, someone who's like not technical, and a woman who has been in this space for years now. And I have like runs a company here and everything. That if that is inspirational for them, I mean, nothing would make me prouder. Like I really hope to inspire that. And I would really hope to see more women in the space. Like I always say, like it's such a great space for women, because it is kind of permissionless, right? Like you really can come to DeFi and Web3 and build, and it doesn't matter who you are. Like you can just be a cartoon avatar and like have a random name, and it doesn't matter. Like nobody cares about that, and it's very meritocratic. Like you can join a Discord and like start contributing. And so I think it really kind of brings down barriers for women and for minorities who haven't been very well represented in finance and in tech before. So I really, really encourage women and really everyone to start contributing in this space. There's just like so much opportunity. There's like everything still needs to be built. Like every project is hiring. Like, by the way, the Defiant is hiring too. So check out our jobs page. But really, like if you look around, like every major project is hiring. And it's such a fast growing industry. So there's just like so much opportunity, and I really wish more women would get involved. Yeah, I don't know. I would encourage everyone.
Yeah, I think you hit on a lot of good points. Basically, every project that we bring on here is hiring. So for anyone listening, if you're kind of feeling like, oh, I don't know where to apply, or I don't know if I have any skills in Web3, I was in college for film and I dropped out, and now I have a marketing job in the industry. So like literally just apply and just get your foot in the door, because is marketing exactly what I want to do? I'm not sure yet, but at least I have my foot in the door and can explore those options. So I definitely encourage women as well to get into the space, and just explore options.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this has been extremely based. I really, really respect everything you've done for crypto in general, Camille. Like this is between the book, the Defiant, being a leader for women. It's awesome to see, and we're all really honored to have you on the stage. Wanted to do a quick time check, Camille. Sometimes at the end of these, we allow like one or two guests to come on and maybe ask questions. Are you down for that? Or?
Yeah, sure, happy to.
All right. Yeah. If anyone on the audience wants to come on the stage and ask us a question, feel free to just hit that request button and we'll let you on. We'll give it a few seconds. Sometimes people are shy, or you can DM us. we'll give it another minute or so. But yeah, Camille, just honestly, really, really appreciate you taking the time out tonight to come and speak with us.
Yeah, no, it was a pleasure. I really enjoyed the conversation. And yeah, I think you guys have a great show. So yeah, was really happy to be invited.
Well, we appreciate that, Camila. Thank you.
And Camila, before we hop off, where can everyone that may be tuning in outside of Twitter, where can everyone kind of plug, if you want to plug your socials?
Sure. Okay, so my Twitter is at Camila Russo. The Defiant Twitter is at Defiant News. And if you go to the Defiant website, you'll find all the links to like the podcast, the YouTube channel, and newsletter there. So head over to the defiant.io as well.
Let's go. I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Everyone stay based.
Yay.
Everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Based space.